I've been to Moab a couple of different times. I've been here and had the opportunity to go up into the mountains and camp up there to experience all the cool rock climbing and kind of do the more beginner and intermediate style riding. And then I've also done a cool trip here with my dad and was able to drive from Moab all the way to Gateway, Colorado, so span 2 states, and go through the high desert, do that kind of stuff, which has been really, really neat. I haven't had the opportunity to get into really super technical trails here in Moab. So that's something that I wanted to do, and I've always wanted to do, to see what people talk about when they get into the really, really gnarly stuff. I travel a lot of different places and do a lot of different things. I don't necessarily get to always travel with the same people, and Vern and I get to go places every once in a while.
Last time AJ and I got together for a trip was back about a year or so ago in West Yellowstone, where we went out there and rode some side-by-sides and then also did a little bit of a expedition doing some downhill mountain biking. So an opportunity came up again to come out to Moab for an event called Rally on the Rocks. I'd been out to Rally on the Rocks back in 2012 with Luke, and really wanted to come back out again. And Age never has been out here yet, for the event at least. And so we thought, you know what, perfect opportunity, let's team up again and shoot a segment.
So bringing us to Moab this time is Rally on the Rocks and Arctic Cat. Arctic Cat is fairly heavily involved with Rally on the Rocks. They support it to a large degree and are here for their consumers and for future consumers of their products. And so Vern and I came out to kind of go riding with the guys from Arctic Cat to try some new Wildcats. I've never done Rally on the Rocks before, and I've only heard good things. And from what everyone's been saying, it's growing year by year exponentially and really gaining momentum.
So day one of the event was getting out and riding with representatives of Patriots and Heroes. Basically an organization that pays tribute to veterans, active servicemen, and wounded warriors. So they wanted us to come out and participate in the ride and get to meet some of these current servicemen.
So Arctic Cat partnered with a company called Patriots and Heroes Outdoors, and what they do at Patriots and Heroes is provide veterans, whether injured or not, outdoor adventures. Now these can be hunting adventures, fishing adventures, and where we come into play is play areas like this. So we provide Wildcats to them. These veterans that we worked with hadn't even seen of Moab, let alone, you know, heard of it. So they came in, we took them out on fins and things.
With Patriots and Heroes Outdoors, we were going to ride fins and things, which is probably one of the most kind of beginner/intermediate trails here. It's not too technical, it's not too scary. There are a couple of things that'll you know, make you open your eyes and create some interest, but it's for the average person just getting out and wanting to try some of this slick rock crawling and kind of the Moab experience. It's a perfect trail to start on. It's not too long. You know, you can do it in an afternoon, nice and slow, and take it easy, and that's exactly where we went. It's really enjoyable. There's cool slick rock. There's fun little sandy, twisty sections. You can get up a little bit of speed. It was a great time. And one of the really unique parts about this ride is halfway through Fins and Things, Camp Chef, who is a company that produces outdoor cooking products, they had a chef with the full tent, all of their products, completely catered lunch, freshly cooked on their smokers and their grills. I mean, it was like being out in the middle of the desert and finding an oasis. So at the end of the day, we were able to talk to Ryan, Amanda, Mark, and Patriot and really get a shakedown of how their day went, how this experience was for them.
We are out here riding on this awesome trail out in Moab. We started, I believe it's Fins and Things. We started this morning, took a little break for lunch, and then I think we're on the back side of the trail. This is our first time going through Moab. We're riding some sweet Arctic Cat Wildcats, awesome side-by-sides. You know, I think it's awesome that you guys are offering this for veterans, you know, to show that there is people that support us. Sometimes there's some questions about, you know, what does the civilian side think about what we do, and so it's great to see different companies show their support for us, so we definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
say, I mean, it was actually kind of cool. I mean, I've never been out on this type of riding before. So I've got, or had UTVs and stuff. We've ridden like up in the mountains and Rockies and stuff. Had a blast doing that. Came out here today, kind of not really knowing what to expect. Got out on some of these rocks with beautiful scenery. Just like I said, some parts were just in the crawling, trying to creep up the rocks, and on other parts on the sand, we're just punching in those curves. I mean, I'm serious. It's just an exhilarating ride.
So you've never done this before? Have you ever driven a side-by-side?
No, I've never driven a side-by-side, never been to Moab. It's all first for me. It's awesome. It's a great experience.
And it was great just to see the genuine smile on their face, how excited they were, and how much pleasure this brought them. I mean, they were stoked. And that's exactly what this sport and what working with a company like Patriots and Heroes is all about. Day 2 here in Moab was going to be something a little bit different. Because Arctic Cat is here in such a big presence at Rally on the Rocks, they brought along a whole bunch of extra vehicles and invited media from the off-road power sports world to come in and go for a ride with them. Cale, the media coordinator for Arctic Cat, calls it his buddy ride, and that's exactly what it is, because most of us in the media are good buddies. You know, we all get along and we're all friendly.
So the trail we're going to be going out on today is called Behind the Rocks, and this is rated a level 7 trail. Now that's a Jeep Trail 7. If you are in a UTV, this would be rated like a 15. So every editor, I have full confidence in them, in the Wildcats. You know, 4 diff lock, we'll be climbing up steep rock faces, we'll be playing in the sand dunes a little bit, so we get a little variety of all-terrain today.
This is a very technical trail system. It starts off with a really challenging uphill wall that you have to ascend, and then it gets into some more technical terrain as well.
Cale's known for not just going out and kind of doing a ride where you just test and see how the product kind of works. Cale gets you out there and throws you right in the spin cycle, man. He's like, let's go show you just how good these Wildcats crawl and climb and, you know, do what they do to the best. And it's exactly what we did going behind the rocks. That trail is gnarly. It was such a cool experience to be able to do this and go out and ride on a really highly challenging trail that otherwise, I don't think Vern and I would have looked at most of these obstacles and said, take a side-by-side down there, and we did it. So that's what you come out and that's what you want to do. You want to push yourself, you want to have fun, you want to see what these products can do.
Obviously, when you're faced with some challenging terrain, you're not always going to make it out unscathed. Unfortunately for one of the guys in our group, he had approached this ascent, which was a really technical ascent. You had to sort of straddle a gap and all that stuff, and it was uneven on either side. And you had to approach it with just the right momentum, not too much gas, not too much brake, and sort of just get over top. Unfortunately, it didn't work out best for him. He rolled it over on its side. End of the day, it was scratches. Didn't really amount to any damage. We were able to get the vehicle back up and running and carry on its way. But did it provide some excitement? Hell yeah. Was it fun? Yes. Am I glad that I didn't do it? Yes, very much so.
About halfway through the Behind the Rocks trail, we pull up to this massive piece of sandstone with this really cool arch right up in the middle of it, in the middle of nowhere. And what happens? Yet again, Camp Chef, full catered meal right out in the middle of the desert. And let me tell you, I mean, after you've been driving all day in 30-degree weather, you know, I mean, it's like almost 90 degrees outside and super hot. We're all ready for some good food and some cold drinks, and Camp Chef was able to provide that just through and through. I mean, we were going back for seconds and thirds. It was great. After we had lunch with Camp Chef, we were a couple hundred yards away, which we didn't know, from a little bit of an escarpment. And once you drop down off this escarpment on the trail, it brings you into a dune section. I mean, Moab truly has everything to offer. And of course, we're on Wildcats. We're gonna go have some fun. So Vern and I go out, we start blasting through the sand, and I'm driving for a little bit and, you know, finding stuff. And then Vern's like, hey, can I jump in? I'm like, I guess so. That Wildcat 4 with those JRI shocks, new company to the industry that we had never heard of, I'll tell you what, that's a good shock. and that thing jumps just perfectly. Vern hit it right in the sweet spot, got it nice and flat in the air. It flew great and didn't bottom out. Nothing happened, so we went back at it and hit it a whole bunch more times. Heck, I even jumped in and Vern rode shotgun with me. It was great. We had a fun time out in the dunes. We were able to rip a bunch of cool roads coming in, you know, get like kind of the smoke show thing going where as you're coming down the dune road in the background, there's the dust flying and stuff. We had a blast. It was just the perfect way to start our riding back up after lunch.
Day 2 was rolling around really good. In fact, we were finishing up the day earlier than we had expected, and it presented this great opportunity for us to sort of switch up the 4-seater for two-seater Wildcat X's. And AJ and I were able to sort of head over quickly to another trail system. And that trail system is called Hell's Revenge. It's a cool trail system in terms of how it's set up. You essentially go through what's like a plateau. On either side, it sort of falls into sort of like a crevice, and then you sort of get into this system. And as you get into this system, it seems like it's a Badlands.
Really neat overlooks. There's lots of vertical stuff for going up and down. There's some really cool long sight lines where you get on top of a big piece of rock and you can see people literally for miles just on the blue groove through the slick rock.
And it just sort of meanders for the first half, really not too technical at all. And then it gets into some really cool technical sections that seems to attract a lot of bystanders and not so many participants.
But there's also a couple of other really interesting features. There's the hot tubs, and then there's the escalator or the elevator, whatever they call it. So anyways, I pull up to the side of one and I'm looking at it going, well, I'm definitely not gonna come up it in this vehicle because it physically won't go up, but lined it up and just went for it. And it was so cool because it was way easier than I thought. It's like when you're cliff jumping into the water. The longer you stand there, the harder it is. Vern was like, you did it, I'm doing it. So he went through, and before we left, we even took the cameraman through with me. So it was fun. We had a good time. After you do it though, it's easy, huh?
Well, it's like I said.
Yeah.
Like once you go, you just want to do it over and over and over again. Now, mind you, we did do it the easy way.
Yeah, we went backwards. When you see it on YouTube, people go the other way and flip over and stuff, but these are incredibly good climbers, but with wet tires and the specific tires we have on them, we ain't going up the other way. So,
no.
Hey, at least we went in. Nobody else did it.
Yeah,
so,
it's cool, man.
Dirt Tracks came and
conquered.
Got in the hot tub. It's cool.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. These obstacles and these challenges that you hear about on YouTube and people talk about when they say Moab, a lot of the times, you know, you just don't ever think that you're gonna do something like that. And Vern and I together kind of push each other to do stuff that every once in a while is a bad idea, but most of the time is super fun. And this time, it was spot on. We had a blast. We came, we saw, and Dirt Tracks conquered. It was an awesome trip.
If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Dirt Tracks TV's YouTube channel so you never miss another update.